Hi, it's Phil from Metal Fanatics, and I sit here with Terry from 6 Feet Under for an interview. Hi, Terry.
Hello.
First question: what can you say about the upcoming album Graveyard Classics 3 and the date of origin?
I believe it comes out in January, and there's 10 songs. There's Metallica, there's Slayer, Twisted Sister, Anvil, Exciter, Van Halen, The Ramones, Prong, Merciful Fate. So it's a good mix of songs that, and bands that influenced us when we were younger.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
How was the time in the studio and the recording of the new cover songs?
The recording went really good. We did the drum tracks at John and Donald Tardy's studio, Redneck Studios. We did the guitar tracks at DOI, and it turned out great. It's a good production. We try to play the songs as precise as the originals. I know some people, when they do covers, they like to put their own influence in and their own little changes, but we kept it just like the originals. But it's got our stamp on it, Chris's vocals, we tuned down lower, and, but I think it turned out really good.
Yeah, cool. How did you choose the songs for Graveyard Classics 3?
Each person, we all like the same stuff, but each person likes some slightly different things. Like if I chose all the songs, it would be a little different than if Steve did, So we kind of just talked about what songs would be cool. Everyone suggested some songs, and we kind of narrowed it down to 10 or 11 songs, and that's what we put on there.
Yeah, because there are many not so famous songs on it. I see the set list. I wondered because there are a lot of famous bands, but not so famous songs of them.
Yeah,
and that's cool.
Yeah,
I think.
Because to me, a lot of times, my favorite songs by a band aren't the hits they have; it's the other songs,
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we chose that.
Yeah. Would you perform some of the new songs tonight?
Not tonight. We're going to tour in April in
cool.
Europe, and we will play songs then.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some metal magazines wrote that your Graveyard Classics set would be unimaginative. What do you think about people that have such a limited perception
of doing covers?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, bands have been doing covers for 40, 50 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not something new. I mean, Iron Maiden were famous for that, 1980.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a cheap way of putting a record out. I think it's just our tribute to these bands, And the first two records have done well, so we decided to put a third one out. And
so on your new record are songs that some people don't remember, and when you put it on, they just think, "Oh, cool, that song I know, but it's not in the present."
Exactly. I mean, I don't expect a fan of ours that's 15 to know who BTO is, Bachman Turner Overdrive. But we do one of their songs on there, and it's very heavy. So maybe when they hear that, they'll go, "Oh, let me check this band out." Or if they hear Prong, they might say, "Oh, I remember that song when I was younger." And
it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
I think. The politicians often blame violent media like movies, games and music to be one of the reasons for killing sprees and massacres all over the planet. What would you, as a former of brutal death metal band like 6 Feet Under or band like called So Brutal, think about the statement that your music would be one of the reasons for the massacres?
I don't believe that at all myself. To me, life in general makes people crazy. Whatever it is, your job, stress at work, your wife may have left you, you know what I'm saying, or you find your wife cheating on somebody, or just you get fired, or I mean, I think sometimes some people are easily influenced, and they may be borderline going nuts, and they see something or hear something and it just pushes them over the edge. But I don't think it's totally at fault of that at all myself. I mean, the brain is such a complex thing that who knows what goes on inside. You know, you just might wake up one morning and just snap, and that's it. You know.
Yeah.
So
If for the politicians, it's the cheapest way to
course.
To blame.
Well, it's always easy to blame. I mean, going way back to the Beatles. Oh, they had hippie long hair. Well, no, they didn't. You know, but they have to blame something for everything. I think it's just the world right now is very explosive. You know what I mean? There's like every country, you know, is pissed off at America, and you know, it's like, you know, there's a lot of tension. So I think it's just the times we live in.
Yeah. What kind of bands and music had an impact to you and your path of life?
Well, Thin Lizzy is my favorite band of all time. I just, you know, I love Phil Lynott and Scott Gorham, John Sykes, you know, Brian Robertson. The guitar playing is amazing. But early on, you know, it was a lot of classic rock when I was a little kid. You know, UFO, Uriah Heep, that kind of stuff. But what really started influencing me was, you know, like Venom, Hellhammer, Slayer, you know, Possessed, the early heavy stuff, you know. I still listen to a lot of that stuff.
Cool. Yeah. What do you think about the German metal scene?
It's great. It's amazing. It's one of our favorite places to play. You know, it's always good shows, and you know, the fans are very loyal, and they love metal, and it's great. I love it.
Cool. Do you play some festival shows in Europe in 2010?
We hope so, yes. We're working on that now.
Okay. And what was the craziest thing that happened to you on stage?
Oh, let's see here. One time for the Warpath tour, we had some smoke bombs.
Okay.
You know, we had this whole stage show where it was like a military thing. You know, there's a siren going off and smoke bombs and everything. Well, we didn't realize that the smoke bombs were toxic. It was like tear gas.
Oh.
And we were backstage waiting to, you know, the sirens going. Our drummer Greg is on the drum kit waiting, and we were reading the package, and it says to, you know, don't inhale, keep out of your eyes, and they're going off already. The whole crowd was like crying, and we couldn't see when we were. It was bad. And so for me, that's our Spinal Tap moment at this stage, you know.
Okay, this is just a crazy moment. Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
Yeah, and good gig tonight.
All right, I hope so. Yes.
Yeah. Enjoy it.
Thanks.